Have you always wanted to start your own business and feel like you think like an entrepreneur? Do you just hate going to your job and feel like something has to change, but you're just so afraid and you don't know where to start? By the end of this video, you will learn 4 ways in which I help my clients develop the necessary mindset to becoming a successful entrepreneur. For the best advice to building a business mindset related to entrepreneurship, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell so that you're notified every Monday when I upload a new video. If this is the first time to my channel, welcome. If you are a return watcher, welcome back. I am Dr. Michelle Scoggins, a licensed clinical psychologist, and I work with 9-to-5ers who are ready to kick their bosses out and start their own gig. I work with many people to help them develop the mindset of an entrepreneur, and I help them develop the confidence that they need without all of the fear and fuss of doing it alone and get their business on a roll. If you are ready to fire your boss, keep watching. So in this video, I'm going to give you 4 tips to transform your mindset from an employee to an entrepreneur. The first tip is to change your beliefs about work, failure, mistakes, fear, and yourself. So let's talk about working. An entrepreneur works to build an empire, not earn a paycheck. This is something that we're not taught in school. In school, we were taught to get an education, to get a good job, and work for someone for a paycheck. So this goes against most of what we believe and what other people believe. But to be an entrepreneur, you work to build an empire. The next belief to look at is failure. This also was taught to us in school. We passed or failed classes, and a failure meant that you weren't good enough. However, as an entrepreneur in business, there will always be some sort of failure. It is inevitable, but what I teach my clients is to learn to accept failure as information only in order to move forward. The third is a piggyback off of failure, but it's also in there, and it's mistakes. We will make mistakes. They may not lead to an overall like business failure or idea failure, but they will be little mistakes that we make within business. That is also something that we have to accept that will occur. Mistakes are only there to teach us how to improve on something. Then we have to look at our belief of fear. Fear often tells us that there is danger, but in business, fear is in all of us. Every entrepreneur, every business owner has fear. It is inevitable as well. So again, you see all of these beliefs that I'm talking about that you will have as an entrepreneur, and they are inevitable to have, but it doesn't mean that you stop or don't start. But fear is typically that thing that keeps you an employee and not a business owner, because it tells you that there's danger and that you should not start. But that is a belief we're going to get rid of. And the last is the belief about yourself. So that is something that's developed over time, and that you have to understand that if you want to be an entrepreneur, that you have to put your mark in the sand that you were meant to do this. The second tip is to develop a skill set or skill development through either self-development books or by hiring a business mentor. Some things that you can focus on in self-development or skill development are learning to try new things. In entrepreneurship, that is a basis of a lot of your kind of success by failure, is by trying new stuff. And that is one way to gain a lot of confidence, is by getting out there and getting outside of the box and trying something new. The second skill set is to study your potential client. We aren't typically taught to think about others' needs, but as an entrepreneur, the way that you are going to pitch your idea or get your sales out there is to understand what your client actually needs. So sometimes this is something that we have to develop because we typically aren't looking towards what other people may need. The third skill set to develop is the glass is half full phenomenon, or being optimistic. Entrepreneurs are oftentimes optimistic to a fault. We believe that every idea is the best idea and every idea is going to work. And that's where we're able to kind of set aside our fears and kind of do it anyway. So, developing optimism isn't second nature to a lot of people. Oftentimes, that fear that holds us into our 9 to 5 is also those negative thoughts that drive our mindset. So, learning optimism is something you can develop through these self help books or through a mentor. The last skill set to really develop is bravery. You are going to encounter people that aren't going to understand entrepreneurships because, again, that was not taught to us in school. You will find that your haterism meter will like super go up. So that is something to also think about, is just developing this thicker shell, thicker skin, where you can tolerate people that don't understand where you're going and where you're driving with your ideas. Comment below about your fear that you've had that keeps holding you back, and tell me some things that you would like to overcome or how I can help you. The third tip that I want to discuss is learning your value. This is very important, and this is where you learn how to study yourself, and it will help guide and give direction to your future business. So there are 4 aspects I want you to look at. The first one is, what do you do well? Think about what other people tell you that you do well, or things that you feel confident in doing. What questions do people ask you to help them with? If these are things that you generally like to do, like they're kind of your passion, write them down so that they can help guide you in this business planning model. The second thing to think about is, what do you do naturally? Like, do you have some natural talent that it's very easy for you to do? This is another area that you want to jot down if it's something that you really like doing, because this can as well guide your business planning. Put together what other people tell you that you do well and what you do naturally well. These are great confidence boosters and ways to really kind of get the engines turning when you're planning out your business. So for myself, I write pretty well, so that's something that I do. That's something that people ask me about. Other things that people ask me about in general is just, how do you quit your job? How do you have the confidence to be out here and not have this 9 to 5? I get those questions all the time. I also feel very confident and think that I do pretty naturally in teaching people and wanting to try new things. So those are areas for me that come very naturally and help me to then guide my business, which has helped me then to help you guide your business. The third thing that I want you to think about when developing yourself is learning to kick out all those naysayers, negative thoughts in your head. They are there. They are meant to keep fear within you, keep fear from allowing you to progress. So it is time to kind of kick all that stuff out of your head. Oftentimes you have listened to the naysayers in your world long enough where you have then incorporated that into your own thoughts. So the only way to get rid of that is to then start beginning to think positive thoughts. Go back to that thinking optimistically. You'll find that a lot of entrepreneurs have that way of thinking. Another self-development tip is, think about your weaknesses. We all have them. You were not meant to do every part of your business yourself. That is okay. Get help. For the things that you don't like doing, don't have an act in doing, get someone else to help you with those things. That is a surefire way to kill your confidence and to let that fear overtake your good efforts. My fourth tip that I offer to my clients is Let your haters help you. Yeah, I'll say that one more time. Let your haters help you. They're going to be there anyways. So why try to worry about them? Let them help you with your effort. Think about like fuel to your fire. Remember, most of your haters were just like you. They weren't taught in school how to be an entrepreneur. So when you come out with these different ideas and the confidence and optimism, they aren't going to understand this. So your hater group is going to grow. Just know this. But again, use them to your advantage. Don't let them continue to let the fear remain in you. Most of the time, we take in what they say and we let that stop us. That fear that they inflict in us usually keeps us from doing what we really love to do and what we dream of doing. So, again, flip the script on them and you use them as fuel rather than as a way to break you down. Remember, they don't have the same information that you have, so their perspective on what you're doing is going to be very different. So they're speaking a different language. Don't worry about them. I hope some of these tips really helped you to think about entrepreneurship and how you can plan and develop your mindset so that you're ready to make that leap from the corporate world when it is time for you to do so. As an added benefit, I linked below a worksheet that will help you plan that exit a little easier. Plus, there is a link below to my mailing list that you can join. I send out monthly tips related to entrepreneurship, business, and mindset. Feel free to join that. In addition, I just released an ebook on Amazon titled How to Quit Your Job Like a Boss and Start a Career That You Love. Feel free to order that. It's also linked below. But the free stuff doesn't end there. I've also linked below some videos related to business and entrepreneurship. Feel free to go watch those now. And to stay on top of my tips that I have, don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, remember, you have the power to bring your dreams to life. It is all about your mindset. Be well. See you soon.